Welcome to an epic journey through one of history's most influential civilizations. The Roman Empire shaped the world we live in today in ways you might never have imagined. From the languages we speak to the roads we travel, from our legal systems to our architectural marvels, Rome's legacy echoes through millennia. Over the next 2 hours, we'll explore 100 fascinating facts about this extraordinary empire. We'll uncover stories of legendary emperors and forgotten heroes, witness the rise of an unstoppable military machine, and discover how a small city-state on the Italian peninsula came to dominate the known world for over 1,000 years. Whether you're a history enthusiast or simply curious about the civilization that gave us aqueducts, concrete, and the very concept of a republic, this video will take you deep into the heart of Rome. So settle in, and let's begin our journey back to ancient Rome. Section 1. The Foundations of Rome. Fact 1. The legendary founding. According to Roman mythology, Rome was founded on April 21, 753 BCE by Romulus, who became its first king. The legend tells of twin brothers, Romulus and Remus, abandoned as infants and raised by a she-wolf. This founding myth became so central to Roman identity that the she-wolf nursing the twins became one of Rome's most enduring symbols, still recognized worldwide today. Fact 2. Rome's 7 hills. Rome was built on 7 distinct hills: the Palatine, Aventine, Capitoline, Quirinal, Viminal, Esquiline, and Caelian. These hills weren't just geographical features but became distinct neighborhoods, each with its own character. The Palatine Hill, where Romulus supposedly founded the city, later became the exclusive residential area for emperors and the wealthy elite, which is why we get the word palace from Palatine. Fact 3. The Roman Kingdom period. Before becoming a republic, Rome was ruled by 7 kings over approximately 244 years. These included both Roman and Etruscan rulers. The last king, Tarquinius Superbus, or Tarquin the Proud, was so tyrannical that his overthrow in 509 BCE led the Romans to develop a deep hatred of monarchy that would influence their political culture for centuries. Fact 4. The birth of the Republic. After expelling their last king, the Romans established a republic with a complex system of checks and balances designed to prevent any one person from gaining too much power. This system, with its senate, consuls, and various magistrates, would last for nearly 500 years and would later inspire modern democratic governments, including the United States. Fact 5. The 12 Tables. Around 450 BCE, Rome created its first written law code called the 12 Tables. These laws were inscribed on bronze tablets and displayed publicly in the Roman Forum, making the law accessible to all citizens. This was revolutionary because previously, patrician magistrates could interpret unwritten laws however they wished. The 12 Tables established the principle that law should be written and public. Fact 6. The struggle of the orders. For over 200 years, Rome experienced internal conflict between the patricians, the aristocratic class, and the plebeians, the common citizens. This struggle of the orders gradually led to plebeians gaining more political rights, including the right to hold consulship and other high offices. This internal evolution made Rome more stable and inclusive than many ancient societies. Fact 7. The Punic Wars begin. Rome's rise to Mediterranean dominance began with the Punic Wars against Carthage, starting in 264 BC. These 3 wars, spanning over a century, transformed Rome from a regional Italian power into the master of the Western Mediterranean. The conflicts arose from competition over Sicily and would test Rome's resolve like never before. Fact 8. Hannibal crosses the Alps. In one of history's most audacious military maneuvers, the Carthaginian general Hannibal crossed the Alps with approximately 50,000 soldiers and 37 war elephants in 218 BCE to invade Italy. This surprise attack from the north caught Romans completely off guard and began the Second Punic War, bringing Rome closer to destruction than perhaps any other moment in its history. Fact 9. The Battle of Cannae. At Cannae in 216 BC, Hannibal achieved what military historians consider one of the greatest tactical victories in history. Using a double envelopment maneuver, his army of 50,000 destroyed a Roman force of 86,000, killing an estimated 50,000 to 70,000 Romans in a single day. Despite this catastrophic defeat, Rome refused to surrender, demonstrating the resilience that would define the empire. Fact 10. Roman resilience. After Cannae, Rome's allies had every reason to abandon them, yet most remained loyal. The Romans refused Hannibal's peace overtures and continued fighting for 14 more years. They adopted a strategy of avoiding major battles while gradually wearing down Carthaginian forces. This stubborn determination, refusing to accept defeat even after devastating losses, became a defining characteristic of Roman power. Section 2. Expansion and Conquest. Fact 11. Carthage destroyed. The Third Punic War ended in 146 BCE with the complete destruction of Carthage. After a 3-year siege, Roman forces breached the walls, fought house to house for 6 days, and systematically destroyed the city. Legend says the Romans sowed the ground with salt, though this is likely myth. What's certain is that Rome eliminated its greatest rival and became the dominant power in the Mediterranean. Fact 12. The conquest of Greece. Rome conquered the Greek world in stages throughout the 2nd century BC. Paradoxically, while Rome militarily dominated Greece, Greek culture conquered Rome intellectually. Romans adopted Greek art, philosophy, literature, and even religion, adapting Greek gods to their own pantheon. As the Roman poet Horace later wrote, "Captive Greece took captive her savage conqueror." Fact 13. Julius Caesar's Gallic Wars. Between 58 and 50 BC, Julius Caesar conquered Gaul, modern-day France, and Belgium, in a campaign that killed an estimated 1 million people and enslaved another million. Caesar's own account, Commentarii de Bello Gallico, provides detailed descriptions of the campaigns and offers insights into Celtic society. This conquest expanded Rome dramatically northward and made Caesar immensely wealthy and powerful. Fact 14. Caesar crosses the Rubicon. In 49 BC, Julius Caesar made a decision that would change history forever. By crossing the Rubicon River with his army, he violated Roman law forbidding generals from bringing troops into Italy proper. As he crossed, Caesar supposedly said, "Alia iacta est," the die is cast. This act of defiance triggered a civil war and began the end of the Roman Republic. Fact 15. The First Triumvirate. Before Caesar's rise to dictatorship, Rome was informally ruled by 3 men: Julius Caesar, Pompey the Great, and Marcus Licinius Crassus. This political alliance, formed in 60 BCE, bypassed the traditional republican institutions. When Crassus died in battle in 53 BCE, the alliance collapsed, eventually leading to civil war between Caesar and Pompey. Fact 16. The assassination of Caesar. On March 15, 44 BCE, the Ides of March, Julius Caesar was assassinated in the theater of Pompeii by a group of senators who called themselves the Liberators. They stabbed him 23 times, believing they were saving the Republic. Ironically, Caesar's assassination led to another civil war and ultimately to the establishment of the very imperial system the conspirators wanted to prevent. Fact 17. Mark Antony's funeral speech. After Caesar's assassination, Mark Antony delivered a masterful funeral oration that turned public opinion against the assassins. While Shakespeare's version is fiction, ancient sources confirm Antony inflamed the crowds by displaying Caesar's bloodied toga and reading his will, which left money to Roman citizens. The mob riots that followed forced the conspirators to flee Rome. Fact 18. The Second Triumvirate. Caesar's heir Octavian, along with Mark Antony and Lepidus, formed the Second Triumvirate in 43 BC. Unlike the first, this alliance was officially sanctioned and given extraordinary powers. They ruthlessly eliminated their enemies through proscriptions, posting lists of people who could be killed legally, with rewards for their heads. The historian Appian recorded that 300 senators and 2,000 equestrians died in these purges. Fact 19. The Battle of Actium. The alliance between Octavian and Mark Antony eventually dissolved into war. In 31 BCE, their forces met at Actium off the western coast of Greece. Antony's naval fleet, commanded alongside his lover Cleopatra, was decisively defeated. When Antony and Cleopatra fled and later committed suicide, Octavian became the sole master of the Roman world. Fact 20. The birth of the empire. In 27 BCE, Octavian appeared before the Senate and offered to return power to them, effectively ending emergency rule. The Senate, rather than accepting, granted him supreme authority and the honorific title Augustus, meaning the revered one. This carefully orchestrated transfer marked the official beginning of the Roman Empire, though Augustus cleverly maintained the facade of republican government. Section 3. The Augustan Age. Fact 21. Augustus's long reign. Augustus ruled for 41 years, from 27 BCE to 14 CE, bringing unprecedented stability after a century of civil wars. He found Rome a city of brick and left it a city of marble. His reign saw massive building projects, territorial expansion, and the establishment of institutions that would govern the empire for centuries. Fact 22. The Praetorian Guard. Augustus established the Praetorian Guard as his personal bodyguard unit in Rome. These elite soldiers, numbering around 9,000, were paid significantly more than regular legionaries and stationed in the city itself. Over time, the Guard became kingmakers, deposing and installing emperors at will. Their power wouldn't be broken until Emperor Constantine disbanded them in 312 CE. Fact 23. The Pax Romana begins. Augustus's reign inaugurated the Pax Romana, the Roman peace, which lasted approximately 200 years. This wasn't actually complete peace. Rome still fought wars on its frontiers, but rather an unprecedented period of internal stability and prosperity. Trade flourished, cities grew, and Roman culture spread throughout the Mediterranean world. Fact 24. Roman census. Augustus ordered multiple censuses throughout the empire to assess taxable population and resources. The Gospel of Luke mentions one such census that required Joseph and Mary to travel to Bethlehem. These censuses were administrative marvels, requiring coordination across millions of people and thousands of miles, demonstrating Rome's sophisticated bureaucratic capabilities. Fact 25. The disaster at Teutoburg Forest. In 9 CE, 3 Roman legions under Publius Quinctilius Varus were ambushed and annihilated by Germanic tribes in the Teutoburg Forest. Nearly 20,000 Roman soldiers died in one of Rome's worst military defeats. Augustus was so distraught that he reportedly banged his head against walls crying, "Varus, give me back my legions." This disaster permanently halted Rome's expansion into Germania. Fact 26. Augustus's succession. Augustus carefully orchestrated his succession, though death repeatedly disrupted his plans. His intended heirs died before him, and he ultimately was succeeded by his stepson Tiberius, whom he had adopted. This established the Julio-Claudian dynasty. Augustus's last words were allegedly, "I found Rome of clay, I leave it to you of marble." Have I played the part well? Fact 27. The Julio-Claudian dynasty. The first imperial dynasty consisted of Augustus, Tiberius, Caligula, Claudius, and Nero, ruling from 27 BCE to 68 CE. This family produced both capable administrators and notorious tyrants. Their reigns established many imperial precedents while also demonstrating the dangers of concentrated power without clear succession rules. Fact 28. Tiberius the Reluctant Emperor. Tiberius, who ruled from 14 to 37 CE, was reportedly a reluctant emperor who gradually became embittered and paranoid. He eventually withdrew to the island of Capri, ruling the empire remotely for his final 11 years. Despite his dark reputation in ancient sources, he was actually a competent administrator who left the empire's finances in excellent condition. Fact 29. Caligula's madness. Caligula, who ruled from 37 to 41 CE, started promisingly, but ancient sources claim he descended into tyrannical madness, possibly after a serious illness. Stories of his excess include allegedly planning to make his horse Incitatus a consul, though modern historians debate how much of his reputation was exaggeration by hostile sources. He was assassinated by his own guards after just 4 years in power. Fact 30. Claudius the Scholar Emperor. Claudius, who ruled from 41 to 54 CE, was considered an unlikely emperor due to physical disabilities and scholarly temperament. Yet he proved surprisingly capable, conquering Britain in 43 CE, completing massive infrastructure projects including 2 aqueducts, and expanding Roman citizenship. He was allegedly poisoned by his wife Agrippina to secure the throne for her son Nero. Section 4. Empire at its peak. Fact 31. The Great Fire of Rome. In 64 CE, during Nero's reign, a massive fire burned for 6 days, destroying much of Rome. Rumors spread that Nero had started it to clear land for his palatial Golden House, though he was actually at his villa in Antium when it began. Nero blamed Christians for the fire, initiating the first major persecution of the new religion, which included the martyrdom of Peter and Paul. Fact 32. Nero's Golden House. After the fire, Nero built the Domus Aurea, or Golden House, a massive palace complex covering over 300 acres in the heart of Rome. It featured a 100-foot-tall bronze statue of Nero as the sun god, a mile-long colonnade, and dining rooms with rotating ceilings that showered flowers and perfume on guests. Later emperors, embarrassed by such excess, buried the complex and built the Colosseum over its lake. Fact 33. The Year of the Four Emperors. After Nero's suicide in 68 CE, the year 69 CE saw 4 different men claim the imperial throne: Galba, Otho, Vitellius, and Vespasian. This rapid succession demonstrated that emperors could be made outside Rome and that the army's loyalty was crucial for holding power. Vespasian, a practical military commander, eventually established the Flavian dynasty. Fact 34. Vespasian's common touch. Vespasian, who ruled from 69 to 79 CE, was the first emperor not from the aristocracy. Known for his practical nature and sense of humor, he famously imposed a tax on urine collection, used in leather tanning and cleaning. When his son complained about the undignified tax, Vespasian held up a gold coin to his son's nose and asked if it smelled, coining the phrase, "Money doesn't stink." Fact 35. The eruption of Vesuvius. In 79 CE, Mount Vesuvius erupted, burying the cities of Pompeii and Herculaneum under volcanic ash and mud. The catastrophe killed thousands, but it also preserved the cities in remarkable detail, creating a time capsule of Roman life. Pliny the Younger witnessed the eruption from across the bay and wrote detailed letters describing it, giving us the term Plinian eruption for similar volcanic events. Fact 36. The Colosseum completed. The Flavian Amphitheater, known today as the Colosseum, was completed in 80 CE under Emperor Titus. This architectural marvel could hold between 50,000 and 80,000 spectators and featured a complex system of underground passages for animals and gladiators. Its opening games lasted 100 days and included gladiatorial combats, animal hunts, and mock naval battles for which the arena was flooded. Fact 37. Trajan's expansion. Emperor Trajan, who ruled from 98 to 117 CE, extended the empire to its greatest territorial extent. He conquered Dacia, modern Romania, adding its rich gold mines to the imperial treasury, and campaigned deep into Parthian territory, briefly capturing their capital Ctesiphon. Trajan's column, still standing in Rome, commemorates his victories with a detailed spiral of relief sculptures. Fact 38. Trajan's markets. Trajan built a massive multi-level complex in Rome that functioned as the world's first shopping mall. Trajan's markets contained approximately 150 shops and offices, selling everything from food and spices to silk and wine. The complex featured innovative concrete vaulted architecture and demonstrated Rome's sophisticated commercial economy. Fact 39. Hadrian's Wall. Emperor Hadrian, ruling from 117 to 138 CE, took a different approach than his expansionist predecessor. He built walls and fortifications to define and defend the empire's borders. The most famous is Hadrian's Wall, stretching 73 miles across northern Britain. This massive fortification marked the northern limit of Roman Britain and required approximately 15,000 men to garrison. Fact 40. Hadrian the Philhellene. Hadrian was deeply passionate about Greek culture, earning him the nickname Graeculus, or Little Greek. He spent years traveling throughout the empire, building cities and monuments. His relationship with the beautiful Greek youth Antinous, who mysteriously drowned in the Nile, caused him to deify his lover and establish cults in his honor throughout the empire, an unprecedented act for a private individual. Section 5. The Golden Age. Fact 41. The Five Good Emperors. From 96 to 180 CE, Rome was ruled by 5 emperors: Nerva, Trajan, Hadrian, Antoninus Pius, and Marcus Aurelius, considered the pinnacle of imperial governance. This period saw the empire at its most stable and prosperous. Historian Edward Gibbon famously wrote that this was the period during which the condition of the human race was most happy and prosperous. Fact 42. Marcus Aurelius the philosopher. Marcus Aurelius, who ruled from 161 to 180 CE, was a practicing Stoic philosopher who wrote Meditations, personal philosophical reflections that remain influential today. Despite his preference for philosophy, he spent most of his reign fighting wars on the frontiers. The opening scenes of the film Gladiator depict his campaigns against Germanic tribes. Fact 43. The Antonine Plague. During Marcus Aurelius's reign, a devastating plague, possibly smallpox or measles, swept through the empire between 165 and 180 CE. Ancient sources claim it killed up to 2,000 people per day in Rome at its height. The pandemic killed an estimated 5 to 10 million people, including Marcus Aurelius himself, severely weakening the empire economically and militarily. Fact 44. Commodus and the decline begins. Marcus Aurelius broke the adoptive succession pattern by making his biological son Commodus emperor. Ruling from 180 to 192 CE, Commodus was more interested in gladiatorial combat than governance. He fought in the arena himself, identifying with Hercules, and his erratic rule marked the beginning of the empire's gradual decline. He was eventually strangled in his bath by a wrestler named Narcissus. Fact 45. The crisis of the 3rd century begins. After Commodus's assassination, the empire entered 50 years of near-constant civil war, plague, economic depression, and invasion. Between 235 and 284 CE, at least 50 men claimed the title of emperor, with most dying violent deaths. This period nearly destroyed the empire and demonstrated the weakness of the imperial succession system. Fact 46. Septimius Severus and military emperors. Septimius Severus, who ruled from 193 to 211 CE, won the civil war following Commodus's death. His dying advice to his sons was reportedly, "Be harmonious, enrich the soldiers, and scorn all other men." This inaugurated an era where emperors relied increasingly on military support, transforming Rome into a military autocracy rather than the Principate Augustus had established. Fact 47. The Severan dynasty and legal reforms. The Severan period saw significant legal developments. In 212 CE, Emperor Caracalla issued the Constitutio Antoniniana, granting Roman citizenship to all free inhabitants of the empire. While partly motivated by tax revenue, this marked the culmination of Rome's gradual expansion of citizenship, creating a unified legal identity for millions of people across 3 continents. Fact 48. The Baths of Caracalla. Caracalla, ruling from 211 to 217 CE, built one of the largest bath complexes in Rome. The Baths of Caracalla could accommodate 1,600 bathers simultaneously and included hot and cold pools, libraries, gardens, and meeting rooms. Roman baths were social centers as much as hygienic facilities, demonstrating how public works maintained social cohesion and displayed imperial generosity. Fact 49. Aurelian Walls. The construction of massive defensive walls around Rome under Emperor Aurelian between 271 and 275 CE marked a psychological turning point. For the first time in 6 centuries, Rome itself needed fortification against barbarian invasions. These walls, 12 miles long and 26 feet high, demonstrated that the Eternal City was no longer invulnerable. Fact 50. Emperor Diocletian's reforms. Diocletian, who ruled from 284 to 305 CE, saved the empire through radical reforms. He divided the empire into eastern and western halves, each ruled by an Augustus with a junior Caesar, creating the Tetrarchy or Rule of Four. He also reformed taxation, fixed prices, and reorganized the military. His reforms stabilized the empire but also fundamentally transformed its character, creating a more autocratic, bureaucratic state. Section 6. Military Might. Fact 51. The Roman Legion. The Roman Legion was perhaps history's most effective military organization. At full strength, a legion contained approximately 5,000 to 6,000 heavy infantry, organized into centuries of 80 men and cohorts of 480 men. Legionaries were highly trained professionals who served for 25 years, receiving regular pay, and upon retirement, a grant of land or money. Fact 52. Military training and discipline. Roman soldiers trained constantly, marching 20 miles in 5 hours while carrying 60 pounds of equipment. They practiced with wooden swords heavier than real ones, built fortified camps every night on campaign, and drilled in formation until movements became instinctive. Military writer Vegetius wrote, "No one fears to do in battle what he has been thoroughly trained to do in camp." Fact 53. Roman military engineering. Roman armies were also construction crews. Soldiers built roads, bridges, aqueducts, and fortifications. They could construct a fortified camp for an entire legion in just a few hours. During the siege of Alesia in 52 BCE, Caesar's army built 25 miles of fortifications to surround the Gallic forces, then built another line facing outward to defend against relief forces. Fact 54. Naval power. Rome became a naval superpower despite starting with no maritime tradition. During the First Punic War, they captured a Carthaginian warship, reverse-engineered it, and built a fleet of 100 quinquiremes in just 60 days. Roman innovation included the corvus, a boarding bridge that turned naval battles into infantry contests where Roman soldiers excelled. Fact 55. Auxiliary forces. Besides legions, Rome employed auxiliary units recruited from non-citizens throughout the empire. These included cavalry, archers, slingers, and specialists like Syrian archers or Balearic slingers. Auxiliaries served for 25 years and received Roman citizenship upon discharge. They eventually outnumbered legionaries and brought diverse tactical abilities to Roman armies. Fact 56. Military roads. Rome built over 250,000 miles of roads throughout the empire, primarily for military purposes. The famous saying, "All roads lead to Rome," had literal truth. The road system centered on the golden milestone in the Forum. These roads, built to precise standards with multiple layers including a foundation of stones, drainage ditches, and paved surface, allowed rapid troop movement, and many remain in use today. Fact 57. Roman siege warfare. Romans excelled at siege warfare, developing sophisticated techniques and equipment. They used battering rams, siege towers, catapults, and ballistas. During the siege of Masada in 73 to 74 CE, Roman forces built a massive ramp up the mountain to breach the fortress. At the siege of Carthage, they built siege works that included a harbor breakwater and attacked continuously for 3 years. Fact 58. The gladius. The gladius, Rome's short sword, was the legionary's primary weapon. This double-edged weapon, about 2 feet long, was designed for stabbing rather than slashing. Coupled with the scutum, rectangular shield, and used in close formation, it proved devastatingly effective. The sword design was so successful that it remained essentially unchanged for centuries. Fact 59. Military decorations. Rome had an elaborate system of military decorations. The highest honor was the corona civica or civic crown, an oak wreath awarded for saving a citizen's life in battle. Other decorations included armbands, medallions, and torques. Soldiers displayed these honors on their armor, and recipients received privileges like preferred seating at public games. Fact 60. The decimation. Roman military discipline could be brutally harsh. The most severe punishment was decimation, where 1 in 10 soldiers in a disgraced unit would be selected by lot and beaten to death by his comrades. This horrific practice was used to punish cowardice or mutiny. While rare, its existence demonstrated the absolute discipline Rome demanded from its military. Section 7. Daily Life and Society. Fact 61. Roman social classes. Roman society was highly stratified. At the top were senators, required to have property worth at least 1 million sesterces. Below them were equestrians or knights, the business class. Then came ordinary citizens, freedmen, former slaves, and at the bottom, slaves. Social mobility existed but was limited, though successful freedmen could become extremely wealthy. Fact 62. The patron-client system. Roman society functioned on patron-client relationships. Wealthy patrons would support clients with money, legal assistance, or political support. In return, clients provided political support, labor, or other services. Every morning, clients would visit their patron's home to show respect. This system created networks of mutual obligation throughout society. Fact 63. Roman housing. Most Romans lived in insulae, multi-story apartment buildings. These could be 5 or 6 stories tall and were often poorly constructed, prone to collapse and fire. The wealthy lived in domus, spacious single-family homes built around a central courtyard with elaborate decorations. The poorest Romans might rent a single room, while the richest had countryside villas with hundreds of rooms. Fact 64. A Roman day. Romans rose at dawn, as there was no artificial lighting. They might visit the baths in the afternoon, the main meal around noon or afternoon, and would attend to business in the morning. Romans worked 6 hours a day on average. There were no weekends, but numerous religious festivals provided holidays. By the late Empire, Romans celebrated over 200 holidays per year. Fact 65. Roman diet. The Roman diet centered on grain, usually wheat, eaten as bread or porridge called pulse. Olive oil provided fat, and garum, fermented fish sauce, was a ubiquitous condiment. Meat was expensive and reserved for special occasions. Wealthy Romans hosted elaborate dinner parties with exotic dishes like peacock, flamingo tongue, or dormice, but ordinary people ate simply. Fact 66. Roman baths. Public baths were central to Roman life. These elaborate complexes included cold, warm, and hot pools, steam rooms, exercise yards, libraries, and gardens. Bathing was a social activity lasting several hours. Admission was cheap or free, and baths were open to all classes and genders, though usually at different times. They functioned as community centers, combining hygiene, exercise, and socialization. Fact 67. Roman women. Roman women had more rights than Greek women but were still subordinate to men. They couldn't vote or hold office but could own property, run businesses, and divorce. Wealthy women were literate and educated. Women like Livia, Augustus's wife, or later empresses wielded considerable informal power. Working-class women worked as shopkeepers, midwives, entertainers, and in various trades. Fact 68. Roman children and education. Roman children were under absolute parental authority. Fathers legally owned their children and could even execute them, though this was rare by the imperial period. Wealthy children were educated by tutors or attended private schools, learning to read, write, and do mathematics in Latin and often Greek. Most children received no formal education and learned their parents' trades. Fact 69. Roman slavery. Slavery was fundamental to the Roman economy. Estimates suggest 20 to 30% of Italy's population were slaves at Rome's height. Slaves had no legal rights and could be treated as property. However, Roman slavery was not race-based, and conditions varied enormously. Some slaves did brutal labor in mines or farms, while others managed estates, worked as doctors or teachers, or ran businesses. Manumission was common, and freedmen could prosper. Fact 70. Roman marriage. Roman marriages were primarily business arrangements between families. Love was not expected, though it sometimes developed. Women married young, often at 14 to 16, while men married in their late 20s. Divorce was relatively easy for men, requiring only a declaration before witnesses. By the late Republic, divorce was common among the elite. Marriage served to forge political alliances and produce legitimate heirs. Section 8. Culture and Entertainment. Fact 71. Gladiatorial Games. Gladiator fights originated as funeral rites but became popular entertainment. Contrary to popular belief, not all fights ended in death. Gladiators were expensive to train, and promoters wanted to preserve their investments. Successful gladiators became celebrities, with some earning freedom and wealth. Graffiti in Pompeii describes gladiators as sex symbols. Fact 72. Types of gladiators. Different gladiator types had distinct weapons and armor. The Murmillo wore a helmet with a fish crest and carried a sword and large shield. The Retiarius fought with a net and trident, wearing minimal armor. The Thracian used a curved sword and small shield. These different styles were matched against each other to create varied, unpredictable combat. Fact 73. Chariot racing. Chariot racing was Rome's most popular sport, drawing even larger crowds than gladiatorial games. The Circus Maximus could hold 250,000 spectators. Fans supported 4 teams, the Reds, Blues, Greens, and Whites, with fanatical devotion. Successful charioteers became wealthy and famous. One driver, Gaius Apuleius Diocles, earned 35 million sesterces over his career, equivalent to the pay of 29,000 soldiers for a year. Fact 74. Theatrical performances. Romans inherited Greek theater but adapted it to their tastes. They preferred comedies to tragedies and developed pantomime, where masked dancers performed stories to musical accompaniment. Theaters were massive stone structures, the largest seating 40,000 people. Unlike gladiatorial games, theatrical performances were considered less respectable, and actors had low social status. Fact 75. Public spectacles. Emperors hosted elaborate public spectacles to maintain popularity. These included gladiatorial games, animal hunts, theatrical performances, and executions. The exotic animal hunts were particularly spectacular. At the Colosseum's opening games, 9,000 animals were killed. Over the centuries, Rome's appetite for exotic animals contributed to the extinction or local disappearance of lions, elephants, and other species across North Africa. Fact 76. Roman literature. Rome produced enduring literary masterpieces. Virgil's Aeneid became Rome's national epic, connecting Roman origins to Troy and legitimizing Augustus's rule. Ovid's Metamorphoses collected Greek and Roman myths. Horace and Catullus wrote lyric poetry. Cicero's philosophical works and speeches preserved Greek philosophy for the Middle Ages. Latin literature shaped Western culture for 2 millennia. Fact 77. Roman art and sculpture. Roman art excelled at realistic portraiture, capturing individual features with unflinching accuracy. Unlike idealized Greek sculpture, Roman busts showed wrinkles, warts, and individual characteristics. Romans also excelled at large-scale narrative relief sculpture, like Trajan's column, which told stories through continuous bands of carved scenes. Roman frescoes and mosaics decorated homes with scenes of mythology, nature, and daily life. Fact 78. Roman religion. Roman religion was polytheistic and practical, focused on securing divine favor through correct rituals. Major gods like Jupiter, Juno, and Minerva were adapted from Greek deities. Romans also practiced ancestor worship and household gods. Religion was deeply integrated with politics. Emperors held priestly titles, and public religious ceremonies marked important state occasions. Romans were generally tolerant of foreign religions as long as practitioners also honored Roman gods. Fact 79. Mystery cults. Alongside official state religion, mystery cults gained popularity, offering initiates secret knowledge and promises of afterlife salvation. The cult of Isis from Egypt, Mithras from Persia, and Cybele from Anatolia all attracted Roman followers. These cults required initiation ceremonies and maintained secretive rituals. Mithraism was particularly popular among soldiers and merchants. Fact 80. Roman music and dance. Romans enjoyed music at religious ceremonies, military marches, theatrical performances, and private parties. They used instruments including the lyre, lute, panpipes, drums, cymbals, and hydraulis, an early organ powered by water. However, Romans considered music and dance less important than Greeks did. Professional performers had low social status, and respectable Romans rarely performed publicly. Section 9. Engineering and Innovation. Fact 81. Roman concrete. Romans invented concrete, a revolutionary material made from volcanic ash, lime, and rocks. This allowed them to build structures that were previously impossible, including massive domes and vaults. Roman concrete was incredibly durable. The Pantheon's dome, poured nearly 2,000 years ago, remains the world's largest unreinforced concrete dome. Modern scientists are still studying why Roman concrete is more durable than modern versions. Fact 82. The Pantheon. Built by Emperor Hadrian around 126 CE, the Pantheon features a dome 142 feet in diameter with an oculus opening at the top, providing the only light. The building's height equals its diameter, creating perfect proportions. The coffered ceiling reduces weight while maintaining strength. The Pantheon has been in continuous use for 2,000 years and inspired countless buildings, including the U.S. Capitol. Fact 83. Roman aqueducts. Romans built extensive aqueduct systems to supply cities with fresh water. The city of Rome itself had 11 aqueducts, bringing 300 gallons of water per person daily, more than most modern cities. The Pont du Gard in France stands 160 feet tall, carried water across a valley, and remains standing after 2,000 years. These engineering marvels used gravity alone, requiring precise calculations of gradients over dozens of miles. Fact 84. Central heating. Romans invented the hypocaust, an underfloor central heating system. Hot air from a furnace circulated under raised floors and through spaces in walls, warming rooms evenly. This system heated public baths, wealthy homes, and even some military barracks. The concept wouldn't be widely used again until the 19th century. Some Roman hypocaust systems still function today. Fact 85. Roman plumbing. Romans developed sophisticated plumbing with lead and bronze pipes, valves, and taps. They built public fountains, private baths, and even primitive showers. Rome's sewer system, the Cloaca Maxima, still functions after 2,500 years. However, their use of lead pipes may have contributed to lead poisoning among the elite, though this remains debated among historians. Fact 86. Roman surgery. Roman military surgeons performed remarkably advanced procedures. They conducted amputations, removed cataracts, performed cesarean sections, and treated battlefield wounds. Surgical instruments found at Pompeii include scalpels, forceps, catheters, and bone drills that closely resemble modern equivalents. Galen, the most famous Roman physician, made discoveries about anatomy and physiology that remained standard until the Renaissance. Fact 87. Roman agriculture. Romans were sophisticated farmers who wrote detailed agricultural treatises. They practiced crop rotation, selective breeding, grafting, and irrigation. They understood the value of different fertilizers and soil types. Roman agricultural techniques, documented by writers like Caligula and Varro, spread throughout the empire and influenced European farming for centuries. Fact 88. Roman glassmaking. Romans revolutionized glassmaking by inventing glassblowing around 50 BCE, making glass affordable and common. Before this, glass was rare and precious. Romans produced window glass, bottles, cups, and decorative objects. They even created the dichroic Lycurgus cup, which changes color depending on lighting, a nanotechnology feat that modern scientists only recently understood. Fact 89. Roman cranes and pulleys. Romans used sophisticated cranes and pulley systems to lift massive building stones weighing many tons. The largest Roman cranes could lift blocks weighing 100 tons to heights of 100 feet. These machines used treadwheels powered by human labor, complex rope systems, and mechanical advantage. Without these devices, structures like the Colosseum would have been impossible to build. Fact 90. Roman numerals. The Roman numeral system used letters to represent numbers. I for 1, V for 5, X for 10, L for 50, C for 100, D for 500, and M for 1000. While elegant for inscription on monuments, the system made complex calculations difficult since it lacked a zero and positional notation. Romans used the abacus for actual calculations, then recorded results in Roman numerals. Section 10. The Fall and Legacy. Fact 91. Constantine and Christianity. Emperor Constantine, ruling from 306 to 337 CE, fundamentally transformed the empire by embracing Christianity. After reportedly seeing a vision before the Battle of Milvian Bridge in 312 CE, he converted and issued the Edict of Milan in 313 CE, legalizing Christianity. By the end of the 4th century, Christianity became the empire's official religion, replacing the traditional polytheistic practices. Fact 92. Constantinople. In 330 CE, Constantine established a new capital at Byzantium, renaming it Constantinople, modern Istanbul. This new Rome on the Bosporus Strait was strategically located between Europe and Asia, easier to defend than Rome, and positioned to control the wealthy eastern provinces. Constantinople would survive as the capital of the Byzantine Empire for over 1,000 years after the Western Roman Empire fell. Fact 93. The empire divides. After Emperor Theodosius I died in 395 CE, the Roman Empire was permanently divided between his two sons. Honorius received the west with its capital at Ravenna, while Arcadius took the east with Constantinople as its capital. The two halves developed separately, with the wealthier, more urbanized east surviving while the west crumbled under barbarian invasions and internal collapse. Fact 94. Barbarian invasions. The 5th century saw wave after wave of Germanic tribes crossing Roman borders. The Visigoths sacked Rome in 410 CE, the first time in 800 years the city had fallen to foreign forces. The Vandals sacked it again in 455 CE. These invasions were partly triggered by the Huns pushing westward from Central Asia, creating a domino effect of displaced peoples overwhelming Roman defenses. Fact 95. The Fall of Rome. In 476 CE, the Germanic chieftain Odoacer deposed the last Western Roman emperor, Romulus Augustulus, a teenager whose name ironically combined Rome's founder and first emperor. Odoacer sent the imperial regalia to Constantinople and declared himself king of Italy. This date is traditionally marked as the fall of the Western Roman Empire, though the process was gradual and the Eastern Empire continued for centuries. Fact 96. Multiple theories for the fall. Historians have proposed over 200 theories for Rome's decline. These include lead poisoning from plumbing, moral decay, Christianity undermining military values, economic exhaustion, climate change, disease, over-reliance on slave labor, political instability, military weakness, and barbarian invasions. Most modern scholars see the fall as the result of multiple interconnected factors rather than a single cause. Fact 97. The Byzantine Empire continues. The Eastern Roman Empire, which we call the Byzantine Empire, survived another 1,000 years until 1453. The Byzantines preserved Roman law, Greek learning, and Christian theology. They saw themselves as Romans, calling themselves Romaeoi, and maintained imperial traditions. Byzantine Emperor Justinian nearly reconquered the West in the 6th century and codified Roman law in the Corpus Juris Civilis, which became the foundation of European legal systems. Fact 98. Rome's legal legacy. Roman law profoundly influenced Western legal systems. Concepts like innocent until proven guilty, legal representation, contracts, property rights, and the distinction between public and private law all derive from Roman jurisprudence. Civil law systems used throughout Europe and Latin America directly descend from Roman law. Even Anglo-American common law was influenced by Roman legal principles. Fact 99. The Romance languages. Latin, Rome's language, evolved into the Romance languages: Italian, French, Spanish, Portuguese, and Romanian. Over 900 million people speak Romance languages today. Even English, a Germanic language, derives approximately 60% of its vocabulary from Latin, either directly or through French. Scientific, medical, and legal terminology remains heavily Latin-based worldwide. Fact 100. Rome's eternal influence. Rome's influence permeates modern civilization. Our calendar, with months named for Roman gods and emperors, derives from Julius Caesar's reforms. Architecture worldwide mimics Roman styles: domes, arches, columns. Political terminology like Senate, Republic, President, Capital, and democracy has Roman or Greek roots preserved by Rome. The concept of citizenship, international law, urban planning, and countless other aspects of modern life trace back to Roman innovations. 2,000 years after its fall, Rome's legacy remains inescapable, proving that in many ways, Rome never truly fell. It simply transformed into the foundation of Western civilization. Conclusion. And there you have it, 100 fascinating facts about the Roman Empire, one of history's most remarkable civilizations. From its legendary founding by Romulus to its transformation into the Byzantine Empire, from Julius Caesar's ambition to Constantine's conversion, Rome's story is filled with triumph and tragedy, innovation and excess, wisdom and folly. The Romans built roads that still carry traffic, aqueducts that still carry water, and buildings that still inspire architects. They created legal systems that govern billions of people, languages spoken across continents, and cultural traditions that define Western civilization. Their military tactics are studied in war colleges, their literature read in universities, and their engineering marvels puzzle modern scientists. But perhaps Rome's greatest legacy is its demonstration that civilizations rise through innovation, determination, and adaptability, but must constantly renew themselves or face decline. Rome fell not in a day but over centuries, through a combination of external pressures and internal weaknesses. Yet even in its fall, it seeded the future, scattering innovations and ideas that would eventually grow into the modern world. Whether you're walking on a road descended from Roman engineering, living under laws derived from Roman jurisprudence, speaking a language shaped by Latin, or simply appreciating the architectural grandeur that Rome pioneered, you're experiencing the empire's enduring influence. In that sense, the Roman Empire never truly ended. It lives on in the very foundations of our civilization. Thank you for joining me on this journey through Roman history. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share it with fellow history enthusiasts. Until next time, remember, Rome wasn't built in a day, but its influence will last forever. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video.